Welcome back to Triton-Cup 50. I'm Weef, and I'm joined here by iMad, and I also definitely know how Double Elim works. We are going into losers finals right now, watching ASC Tenshi, who was knocked out by, I believe, LSNN, if I remember correctly, and versus Oblivionion, who we just saw take it up against No Mercy in a very decisive game. iMad, are you excited for losers finals?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm excited to be watching this first match instead of playing it because I'm not a fan of zones on Hammerhead, let me tell you.
Holy mother of lockouts. That's definitely what I expect to see from this match. I expect one team to really take it strong at first and then never let go, because this is a map where you can just move forward so quickly. And already we're getting right into it, seeing these teams and what they have to offer. I know we're going to see Orion on the Tetris and Double Splash Machine from the side of Oblivionion, and Double Splash Machine and switching out the Tetris for a 52 on the side of ASC Tenshi.
Yes, bringing that 52 in, that's going to give them that splash wall, which is going to be excellent because it is a bit open around the zone area. And just the fact that it is such a choke point to push up, that's going to just give them a little bit more space to work with. Already we've seen the buckets facing it off, and we see Oblivionion's going to be the one up, but Tenshi in control of zone for the time being, but they are going to lose it as their splash goes down.
Yeah, already Oblivionion, like you said, 2 down. Booyah Bomb gonna come out, creating a lot more space, and Orion gonna be on the Tetris, doing the Tetris things, forcing a player to jump out, and already, this is what we're talking about. We're seeing this lockout, and I guarantee you it's gonna continue on for quite a bit of time if Oblivionion plays their cards right. But right now, they are 2 down. They do have a crab on the zone, ready to go out and stall it just for a little bit, but they do get taken out in a combination of some bucket play and the whale just forcing it Tenshi low, but they're not quite letting go just yet. That is a wipeout, not even losing the zone for a second, and they are right back at it. Orion rushing headfirst in, and the other players just making everything count.
Yeah, as soon as that crab got popped, they just hard focused it, but then it's before they were able to cap the zone, the Tetris, Orion coming in and just cleaning them up, and now down to 20. They're going to really have to skedaddle if they want to take the zone back, and they are so close to capping it, but Oblivion is not letting go.
I mean, this isn't exactly what I heard. They do get a cap back, ASC does, but with being 2 down on both sides, only that splash left alive. I'm guessing they're probably trying to, charge crab and just stall out for their team to return right now. Looking like Oblivionion is at the upper hand once again. Orion gets a pick, going in and forcing the other players to back up before getting taken out themselves. Oblivion is still having a very strong hold of the zone despite the crabs that are coming out and the Booyah Bomb that we're going to see right here from this machine.
I swear that Tetra user is just sneaking in tactically here, just coming in, but before you know it, they are back, and they are just causing all sorts of havoc for Tenshi. They are able to cap the zone, and they're starting to push back Oblivionion. They have the crab online, but already the return crab, as well as several fizzy bombs, is going to be putting on so much pressure for them.
Yeah, ASC Tenshi though is starting to get a hold. They do go 2 down, but both teams are in this situation right now. Booyah Bomb going to force that crab to move out of the way as Oblivionion does return to the zone, but not before ASC Tenshi can score at least a few more points. Orion here and another one of their teammates are on the left. Seb gets the beautiful pick on Orion and might get the crit on this crab tank if they can play it enough. Does cancel it, but does not get the full pick, and that is ASC Tenshi going to be 3 down. Only rise on that crab. Going to be forced to back out here. Oblivionion is back in the upper hand.
Booyah Bomb goes out there just trying to find their space to be able to get back up there and keep them out of the zone area, but they are back from spawn and they're doing an excellent job of just making sure they don't give the Tetra an opportunity to push up like they have been. But they are going to be going up just trying to counter the crab, but they do call them out in time, but not before they distract them from the zone. 12 of the penalty points remaining. Booyah Bomb is going to come out and possibly flip that zone, but they lose 2 of their members in the process.
3 down on the side of ASC Tenshi now, giving Oblivionion just that much more room to play with. There's only 15 points left on the board before Oblivionion KO, and with a beautiful double pick from Orion with going into the triple, and that's going to be a wipeout. Oblivionion takes game 1 pretty decisively.
You said it at the beginning of the match, if they get a solid hold, it's just going to be a lockout for the rest of the match. And while Tenshi was able to break out and flip the zone a couple of times, just overall Oblivionion had such a excellent performance being up in their spawn and making sure they didn't have easy time getting back to zone.
Yeah, the aggression that swapping out, same comp except trading out the 52 for the Tetras. The Orion is a force to be reckoned with those Tetras, and just switching out just that comp, it adds just a lot more a faster tempo to your comp, allowing you to really take advantage of the wipeouts that you do get. But right now we are back to our counter pick format, just waiting on what ASC Tenshi decides to take as a counter pick. We do see it's going to go to Splat Zone's Hagglefish. Well, what do you think? What do you think these teams are thinking with that counter pick?
Well, I think this is definitely a very comfortable choice. Hagglefish is one of the more popular maps, and zones in particular, it's a very commonly played Hagglefish mode map combo. So I think bringing this out, going off of that Hammerhead, they're trying to at least get a point to counter that first win for Oblivionion.
Yeah, we see the return of the pole here. Hagglefish was one of the stages that has had a pole slapped onto it to try to counter chargers, to try to counter crabs. Not really doing much in the process, but we appreciate the effort, I guess. But we'll see how these teams play around it, how these teams play around their crabs, and if it's just going to be a big stall in mid until one team decisively gets an advantage. We'll definitely see.
Maybe not be enough for the cover aspect, but it certainly makes capping the zone a little bit more difficult. It just adds that block in the middle, so like you can't really paint straight up the middle. You gotta just paint around it. It is a bit awkward.
We see ASC Tenshi drop their 52 for a splash, giving them a bit of extra anchor power, but Orion, once again, going in, getting a lot of picks. That is going to be 3 down. The last member does have a crab, which can help stall things out just for a little bit, but it might be difficult in order to get out when you already have a Tetris up in your base.
Yeah, the triple splash, is a pretty strong meta choice, and it was good thinking on their part, but Orion, they don't really care. They're just going to push up anyway. They do manage to take them down. They pop the double crab, but so far Oblivionion is holding control of zone pretty strongly. The Tetras go down, and so is one of the splashes, but they are down to that 50 mark.
Yeah, 50-point mark, like we say, it's the point where a lot of your LDE is going to be activated. It's a point where you're really going to start sweating and thinking, okay, how actually are we going to get back into this? ASC Tenshi does have a decent control of mid right now, especially with that pick that they got on, who I believe is Phoenix. And now Oblivionion is now on the upper hand, not the upper hand. Last player is going to be forced to jump out, creating an effective wipe. And now ASC Tenshi is taking their time and getting their specials in order to turn this maybe into a bigger push on its own.
They are in a big opportunity to start locking out as they've been locked out in the last match. We see the crab getting popped. They have to make it past the 33 mark, which is not a bad space to be in, but they have no penalty points in their way, and they're just going to have to watch out for the double crab getting popped as well as the Booyah Bomb, but they are still holding strong.
Yeah, they're rapidly approaching Oblivionion's lead here. Only a few more points until it gets swapped, and there it is gonna be. Now Oblivionion really does have to put in a lot of work if they want to retake that. It looks like the zone is starting to be contested. A Reef Slider coming out, but it is going to get immediately taken out. Booyah Bomb also coming out. Looks like the zone is still contested though. Not a solid cap from Oblivionion to be seen here as we see a lot of crab on crab action. It's a massive team fight in mid with both these teams desperate for something to come out of it. Looks like Oblivionion with their 2 down is going to take a bit of an advantage, but it's kind of just status quo out here as teams are gaining and losing advantages faster than we can really talk about them.
Yeah, Oblivionion, they're struggling a bit to get back in. Their Tetras are coming in, doing some work, but they're getting taken out pretty quickly, and they still have quite a bit of their penalty point to go back. And I think they added a little bit more. Tenshi just retaking the zone for just a second to stock up on that Oblivionion's penalty points. While they are in control for the time being, there's still a chance for Tenshi to bring it back before they take that lead.
Yeah, but Oblivionion is really positioned strong here. They do go 2 down, but these splashes are still in mid. And with the Tetras returning, I'm guessing we're going to see some more Tetra action pretty soon here. ASC Tenshi does take the zone away from them though. But, like I said, Tetra action coming out, getting some picks, and putting a lot of pressure on the zone. Canceling that crab, which is absolutely crucial for Oblivionion's return to holding here, as that crab would have put a massive stall to that.
2 members down, the bucket and the splash. And although they are close, with just 1 member remaining, it is going to be Oblivionion's turn to push back in and see with that Tetris. They're going to be trying to set up on that tent, but they are getting bombed out pretty strongly here. We'll see if they're able to get a pick, but they are certainly distract them enough. They are so close to getting the penalty points out, and then there's just this hop skipping away from getting that lead right back.
Yep, 28 points here, 26, 25. That is going to be the lead, but it is far from over. ASC Tenshi has 3 crabs on the zone and are very quickly going to get it back into control, but they have a big penalty of 40 and more, and only a minute left to establish themselves strong enough to get a good overtime push, or maybe even a push just in general, to, get that going and make sure that they're able to get the lead back. But Oblivionion is once again approaching the end of their penalty points, and it's going to be chewing it down even more. 20 points left, 10 seconds left until they KO, unless ASC Tenshi can pull something out to put a stop to it.
Just we see the Booyah bending hole. They're trying to just stall out for as much as possible, but they are in the zone. They weren't able to get a pick off of it. They are contesting it so strongly. Crab is getting popped. It's just so closely contested. 2 members of both sides, but that is going to be Oblivionion taking the second KO here.
We are in a best of 5, so it's not quite over for ASC Tenshi yet, but that does put them on a uncomfortable position where if they want to win, they have to get the reverse 3-0 soup, which is never a situation you want. You're going to be dealing with Oblivionion's counter picks, forcing you in a bit of a disadvantage, and it's just never something you want to be in, but it's certainly not impossible. So we'll see how they counterpick and if that can get them enough of an advantage to take the set back potentially.
Thinking about the objective for zones compared to some of the other objectives, you have 2 main points. They had Tenshi, they had a lot of, like the triple crab, they had a lot of firepower for taking back the zone. Then what really allowed Oblivionion to take that match was just their stalling power with that Tetra Dualies. Once again, this Tetra Dualies just being absolutely mad lad, going up into the base and keeping them away from the zone, keeping their attention away from it, just allow them to get a little more points and just take the KO in the end.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult no matter what, but I personally believe that they can pull it out. It's never over until it's over is something I always like to say, and I mean, Spot Zone's Mart is certainly the map mode where they can pull something out from nowhere. Are we predicting that we'll see the return of the 52, or are we going to see triple splash again?
That is a tough one. I think 52 can certainly do good work here, but also Splash is incredibly strong. The stacks are such good places to pop that crab. I think it'll just come down to what is going to allow them to be able to hold that zone for the longest. We saw in several matches ago, Oblivionion just completely dominated against, I think it was, I'm trying to think of who they were up against.
It was Who Up With a Worm, I think.
Yes, and they just did such a dominant performance on Mart.
Yeah. We can see it again, but they have been struggling, as we see, sorry, I forgot who we were talking about. I'm, a bit shaken up sometimes, but we are going to go into it real soon here to see if these teams are going to stick with what's been working for them. No, we're not. Awesome. I love this game. Splatoon 3 for the Nintendo Switch, everyone. Best multiplayer game of the year. Absolutely zero flaws. Perfect servers that definitely exist and aren't just peer-to-peer connections in a thinly veiled attempt at, working. I don't know. I love this game. It's super awesome. Classic moment.
Ironically and not ironically, we love this game.
Yeah. People in chat are saying $20 a year. I think I think our money's going to good use. Definitely not just going into their pockets. Nintendo is very invested in making sure their online services work as intended.
Well, to be fair, I am looking forward to their DLC. They have not let us down with that as of yet.
Yeah. Well, we have more time to talk, I guess. I don't know. I feel like we've said a lot that there is to be, saying, but we'll see. I mean, it won't take too long to get readied up in here as we do.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that they kicked us out before we could see what these teams were rocking. We're still in a bit of the dark of whether they're going to stick with the triple splash or if they're going to bring out something like the 52. And it did seem like the triple splash would work for them somewhat for Hagglefish. They had several good times when they were able to keep the zone back, but in just the overall through the match.
All right, we only have one player left to join the lobby, and I don't know if we mentioned it yet, but it is worth noting that Oblivionion, they got knocked out by the Hood pretty early on and have basically worked their way all the way up to here, as they are now putting on a very strong show in losers finals. So the losers run is real for them.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that. I was surprised that they got knocked out so early, but so far they have not lost a game in losers bracket. They have been going 2-0 for every single set up until now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Not dropping a game and means that their momentum is extremely strong, and if they win this, their momentum is going to be extremely strong going into grand finals. So we'll see if they can win against the Triple Splash Menace. I mean, one of them is a Neo Splash, but we'll see if they can take it as we go on to Splat Zone's Mako Mart.
We are back on the Mako Mart, and we do see the Triple Splash, Neo Splash included. They're going to be bringing back that aim strike, and already we see the Tetris trying to get in. They bring out the trade, bring it to a 3v3, and neither team has really been able to lock down the zone as of yet.
I mean, Oblivionion, they have a crab that is actively touching the zone, making it so it was very uncomfortable for ASC Tenshi to exist on their stack. And already Orion is back. The QR is an absolute wonder, as they're just going to be putting more and more pressure on ASC Tenshi. The zone is, as you see, mid is painted almost entirely blue, and ASC Tenshi is kind of struggling and just trying to, play patiently, get their specials, and make sure that they can get some picks before they try to push in. They're, not trying to rush in too soon, and they are going to force some of the players of Oblivionion to jump out just a little bit. These specials are coming out from Oblivionion, though, meaning that their hold is still very much in the works.
They are able to flip that zone, but they lose 2 of their members in the process, so Oblivionion is going to have no problem taking that zone back, although now they have to chew through 30 points of penalty, but that is not going to be too much for them. They are still on a tear, and that Tetris is looking towards their base, but they do get shut down by the splash.
They did cause a bit of chaos before they went down, though, making it just a little bit more difficult for ASC Tenshi to focus, and made it, delayed their push and their charge towards mid a little bit slower. So, I mean, we are seeing Oblivionion continue to take down the timer just a few more points before ASC Tenshi starts to rush it, and it looks like the zone is going to go to ASC Tenshi once again, but they have a long climb up ahead of them before they can get a strong push going, as Oblivionion takes it yet again.
I think something we haven't really touched on is just the awareness to be able to jump out when you need to. We saw earlier the sausage machine, they weren't able to confirm the kill on it, and they were able to hop out safely, and that allowed them to come back with their buoy bomb still intact, and that just brought them another flip of the zone. Tetra still trying to cause some havoc. The tri-strike coming out, but still not enough to flip the zone. They are going to have to follow it up before they pop that grab.
This crab tank is going to get bullied just a little bit, and it looks like it's 2 down on both sides. ASC Tenshi still holding the zone, though, approaching the 70-point mark just a little bit. If they can get this tower, or this zone back once again. Oblivionion 3 down. They are going to continue their push here, and with a crab tank at the ready, I can definitely see them continuing this further and further with a good positioned and well-timed crab.
ASC Tenshi slowly ticking away. They are so close to bringing this lead back, but they lose 2 of their members. Just 5 more points to go. They're popping the tri-strike to stall some time. They are able to take that lead back, and now they are sitting in a good spot here, but already the Tetris is trying to come in and cause havoc once again.
Alwo gonna get picked off by one of the splashes, I believe, and it's very much Oblivionion's game. They're be giving jumps to their teammates. Orion is gonna go in once again, and there's Ellis is gonna pop that crab tank on ASC Tenshi's stack, making it so the essentially their left side of the map is unusable. But they are gonna get backed out here. Oblivionion does take the lead before that happens, though, and as we approach the latter half of this game, it's going to be a real challenge to hold the zone for ASC Tenshi, if they can even cap it again, to hold it enough to get that lead back.
They lose one of the splashes, but not before they take down the slashing machine. Tri-strike coming out. Oblivionion still painting the zone. Oh, they are able to take the zone flip. Tenshi in control for the time being, putting out a little bit of penalty, but they still have yet to take the lead back. And as we get into the last minute, this is going to be looking rather rough for them.
Yeah, I mean, the zone, it was flipped for just a second there, but Oblivionion is already trying to bully them out with all they can. Booyah Bomb gonna come out for Oblivionion, capping the zone once again and making it so where as we enter, last 30 seconds or so of this match, ASC Tenshi is going to have to fight to even cap it, as, Oblivion is going to be moving forward, making it so where their entry tools are, ASC Tenshi's entry routes are mostly cut off here. Orion getting a pick with a restarter yet again. It's 3 down on the side of ASC Tenshi, and the wipeout is going to come out right as Oblivionion is entering the 20-point mark. Their penalty is over, and they are prime for KOing. ASC Tenshi has to throw everything that they have at the zone to try to attempt to neutralize it, but even the tri-strikes are not enough in the end. And the set goes 3-0 to Oblivionion, who are going to be going on to grand finals, breaking, carrying on their losers run without dropping a single game and making it to the end, basically.
Once that wipeout happened and then the Orion was able to get into the base, that spelled the end of that match right there, and they were able to keep their winning streak, as you said. Now they have such huge momentum going into grand finals, as they're going to face off with the winners of the winners bracket, LSNN.
Yeah. We'll see how they fare, but before we go to the very, very hype grand finals, we are going to take a short break. Be sure not to tune away, as it's going to be a good one. I feel it in my bones. See you then.
Champions is going to be,
And that is game.
And that is lead!
Is the tournament.
Oh my god!
That's game. That was the anchor.
Splatoon strong.